Belgrade Beat, the pulse of the city. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, folks, welcome to Belgrade Beat. Today I'm sitting with Val and Amy from Kultur Shock, who are on tour. They're not playing in Belgrade this time, but they figured that this is a nice place to spend their Monday off. And so, since I've known them for a few years, I decided to invite them to do this interview. And we just finished a studio session for my new project, Discretno, with Amy, and she did a great job on the saxophone, and you'll hear that soon. But I wanted to talk to Val and Amy about, you've been coming through the Balkans for how many years now?
It's been since 12 years or something. Since 2006, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
as a band.
As a band, yeah. And you're originally from Bulgaria.
Yeah, from Sofia.
You're American,
Yeah.
and your singer Gino is Bosnian.
Yeah.
And so you have a different insights on the region and the whole thing. So what has changed in the last 12 years?
Are you talking about the region or
The feeling
country?
when you come as a band, the energy of the city, the way people are,
This particular city?
Yeah.
Well, for me in particular, I remember first time we rolled in here circa 2006, in the early 2000s, and the Belgrade felt differently. It felt it was on a back end of all the bombings and all this kind of stuff, and it was just
nasty shit.
It was a nasty shit that this nation went through, and the whole region went through along with it, and there was just a heaviness in the air. You know what I mean? The kind of unease,
a pent-up sort of, yeah.
And as we've been stopping by, and especially in the last couple of years, the things have changed. It's like Belgrade is not the Belgrade that I knew back then. It has gained its footing. It feels like a normal European city. It functions. There's no underlying aggression or anger. It feels like a really nice European capital, with all of its drawbacks and the problems and economic or political as it has. It doesn't have the tension that was part of it before.
And there's a vibe that I feel is getting stronger, a stronger sort of welcoming vibe as more tourists are coming through.
Not just that, I would even say that it has this feeling of freedom.
Yeah.
Feeling of freedom that you cannot find, for instance, in Zagreb.
Yeah. Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's
a
mix of cultures. I find.
And not just that, but it's like it almost like there's the rules here are either non-existent or very lax. So,
yeah. Like I was last week. I was riding my bike the wrong way down a one-way street with a glass beer bottle in my hand. I was thinking, if I did this anywhere else in Europe, I'd probably be pulled over by the police, and it would not be good. But here, I know it'd be like
you'll be fine. Like yesterday, we parked the van in totally wrong spot because we got confused where this Airbnb was, and some dude that's met in a parking lot, he was just like, you can just go against the traffic, and we were like, no, we cannot do that, and he was like, no, that's how we do stuff here.
Yeah.
If you need to accomplish something, as long as you don't bother anybody else, it's okay to bend the rules, break it a little bit, and kind of make shit work. So you can make the city work. You can make the people around you move faster or whatever. So that's this underlying level of freedom and lack of restrictions. You know what I mean? Even last night when we were at Cetinska, we were hanging out there. It was just like completely relaxed late at night. People just hanging out, lounging, and there was no pressure.
Yeah. But there's also infrastructure. The city's organized. It's convenient. 24 hours a day.
The city is completely functional. Literally, every time I put something, I need an ATM. Boom, bajillion of them pop up there. Yeah. You need restaurants. Boom, bajillion of them pop everywhere. I need a laundromat. Oh, here they are. You need banking. This and that. It functions like a good town.
Yeah. And there's just more and more people, for example, I know from Canada who moved there, who are moving back to Serbia, of this diaspora and everything like that. Just sort of like, everybody sort of sees the potential in the city now, except for the people who live here and have never lived anywhere else.
Yeah, but that's normal.
Yeah.
I think that's normal because, if you have spent most of your life in one place, very often you underestimate its its positive aspects and overestimate its negatives.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
But
the
here's-
grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, when I explain to people why I live, they can never believe it. Like, why do you want to live here and not in Canada? And
Well, and Canada is an amazing place.
It's,
truth be told.
it's one of the most
Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah. It's one of the most tolerant places for immigrants, for example. I know that for sure.
On many levels, it's like business is working normally over there.
I know, but we don't have the simple pleasures of life that we have over here.
No.
You know, like
No.
try being a smoker there, and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
That's one thing. There's the other thing. I don't know if you've heard about what's happening in Vancouver. It's so regulated, and city council has practically killed the entertainment industry in the city, because it's like there's so much noise restrictions that you cannot really even have a club. You cannot even pull a live show or something like that, because it's just extremely stringent to protect the peace of the community.
I know, and that's the Canadian mentality. Is like it's this really
But there's no adventure in it.
But here, living here. Adventure.
Everything is adventure. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
It's
everything
great.
here is adventure,
Yeah.
and like I started this business called Support Adventure, doing tech outsourcing here, and giving people jobs that they can work online, travel here in different countries, and like this is a great place to live if they send money. But I'm just trying to figure out what is the message that you would give to the young youth of the Balkans, based on knowing how things work over there. What should they try to create here? Like, what's the secret in business?
I had this conversation just with my brother like 15 minutes ago. We're trying to figure out why a lot of people what is the perspective for young people? Because my niece, she just scored the highest possible score in the university acceptance exams, and my brother was just like, I think she should look for something that is more practical and stuff, because she wants to do media management or something like that. And he was like, why doesn't she go for something like being an attorney? And I was like, well, that's not the only thing that's out there and provide the stability. Eventually, Bulgaria is currently in Serbia. Eventually, will be part of the European Union, regardless if European Union stays as it is or it gets restructured.
Yeah.
But the world is open to this part of the world.
The world is open. It's just opening, and for Serbia, it just about to completely pop up. From that point of view, the skills that young people acquire here through education and the natural Serbian ingenuity, because people here are industrious as fuck. And all this could be applied anywhere else. It doesn't have to be here. It could be in Germany. It could be in Austria. It could be in Italy. It doesn't matter.
But here they're hungry. And they're a part of the world. They speak English like really, really well.
Everybody speaks English.
Everybody speaks English, and they don't realize that
that's a prerequisite for
the globalized economy. The internet economy, working online, outsourcing, like in my business.
See, globalization. In my mind, I've made this argument for a number of years now, because everybody's just like, oh, globalization, big corporations, multinationals, and this kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. That means globalization of workforces as well. That means flow of labor and intellectual capacity and resources and opportunity for people. So the underdeveloped nations have the chance to actually develop and bring the standard of living closer to the ones of the advanced ones. Now, that means a little bit of a decrease of the standard of living of the developed nations.
Yes.
And that's the problem right now in the States, for
instance. That's the whole Trump thing.
That's the whole Trump thing.
Yeah.
But that's a price you pay for elevating the global economy and global human well-being.
Yeah.
So globalization is not bad.
It started with lots of corporations wanting better trade deals, but it ends with everybody in the small towns in Serbia having access to work from the internet economy.
That or like China having a sustainable middle class, something that 30 years ago was not even imaginable.
Unimaginable,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, okay. You said that you feel a vibe in the city. I mean, so you're starting a new business here with, do you want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about the band, or?
I prefer to keep my, let me just say this, that started something that's yet to go public as an announcement, because it's extremely complicated, but it's a good thing, and it's a part of me and my partner's Balkanophilia. So it's good for everyone.
And so your business back in the States is you run some bars in Seattle.
Yeah.
I understand. So how was that? And what are the struggles in running a bar? People open bars as almost a hobby sometimes, but it's probably hard work, isn't
it? It is extremely hard work. The thing is, when I immigrated to the States, I went there as the only skill that I had was playing guitar, and playing guitar doesn't pay the bills.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, yeah, unless you luck out. So I was looking for something that can provide a steady stream of income. So I got into the bar and restaurant industry, and I ran bars for other people for like 15 years until I opened along with Bill Gould from Faith No More. And Michael Lee from the Young Evils, we opened our first place in Seattle, and 6 years later we opened a second one, and it's been a ride, I gotta tell you.
Yeah,
it's been a ride because it's a complicated business. It's like it's not like running a restaurant, and based on the rules over there, you have got to run a restaurant if you sell hard liquor.
Yeah.
So you have got to really dose what you're doing and how you're doing it. So it's complicated. In the same time, right now in Seattle, in the last 5 years, 60,000 people moved into the city, mostly tech workforce that came to work for Amazon and Google and Facebook.
So there's an opportunity there to...
Well, the thing is, it just changed.
It's upset the balance.
It's upset the balance. It's changed the makeup of the city because these kids are coming there and they're starting with $100K a year.
100? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
And all of a sudden, all the people that were living in the downtown core, a lot of old Seattleites and artists and musicians and this and that, they got misplaced because of high rents. Mm-hmm. So it changed the demographics of neighborhoods. It provided for opportunities because you have a denser population of people that require it.
And if you're a bar owner, suddenly you can have a crowd charging $1 or $2 more than you would before, but it kills the soul of it, right?
It just changed the makeup of it. It changes its soul.
Is the city losing soul in the neighborhoods you've been?
I would say so. I've been there 33 years, and when I moved to Seattle, it was very provincial. People greeted each other in the streets, and now everyone's on their phones. They're not. The sense of community is really diminished quite a lot. So we're working on trying to transform the community, into something positive.
Yeah, I mean, the phones and social media are kind of your friend and kind of your enemy if you like that old-fashioned community, because you can, get interesting gatherings of people just by making a Facebook event. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if people are in this world here, then it's hard to sort of... Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm a little afraid the same thing will happen in Belgrade, and I guess with me and my company.
Well, no, but it's interesting. Like last time I was here in February, and somebody brought us to Strogit Center.
Yeah. I like that place.
I love this place, and the thing I couldn't figure out immediately what is the thing that I like a lot aside from the atmosphere, because it's great, it's perfect bar, but I didn't see one young person with a cell phone in their hands. People were just talking to each other, having their drinks, and having a great chilled time.
Yeah.
And that I'm noticing this everywhere I go, in every restaurant or bar in this town. It's like it's not the preoccupation with the media that jumps out of the phone all the time. People actually talk to each other, and I have a feeling that the Balkans, because of its extremely social way of living, might actually survive this.
It might survive. I feel that Belgrade in particular in Serbia has this resistance, being through all the wars, all the different empires that came through there.
Yeah.
People have this sort of let's keep the eye on what's important feeling for the city and stuff like that.
People are resilient, and I think that it might just from what I'm seeing, they're using the good aspects of technology to utilize it and connect with the rest of the world, while still remaining human and enjoying actually the essence of life. Good food, good drinks, communication, friends, all this stuff, family, the stuff that actually matters.
Yeah, family is still going on here in a very big way, and
that's
like the old world. I like just the way that how in Belgrade the old world values kind of go harmoniously with the new world stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
It's not like a contrast where it's like the traditionalists we go, we hate this new stuff, we hate these phones. Like
it's not a
religion
kind of
and
thing,
there's tradition and
the technological connectivity is like readily accepted, but it's not overly used, you know.
Okay, so how old were you when you left Bulgaria?
I was 26.
Okay, so if you could look
26,
back
27.
and you were to give yourself advice as a 20-year-old in Bulgaria,
As a 20-year-old.
yeah, what would your advice to yourself be? Because maybe there's somebody here.
then?
Yeah.
Fuck, that mean I honestly I wouldn't probably, based on the circumstances back then, it was still authoritarian regime and all this kind of stuff. I probably wouldn't have done anything differently. Probably I would have pushed a little harder for changes.
Okay, say you were 20 years old in Bulgaria now, or Serbia.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. What would you do?
I just try to connect with the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about anything else. All the history, nationalism, all this fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, we are all citizens of the world. We are all interconnected. We can all live together. We can all get along and benefit each other with our wisdom and our regional character without losing it, but in the same time without discounting anybody else. You know.
Yeah. And how do you balance this need to make music and art and travel around with your band with the need to run a business and make money and be responsible and a family and all this stuff?
You sound like my wife right now. What are your priorities?
No,
for me the priorities always have been three. It's my family, my music, and my businesses, and none of them overweighs the other one because all three of them make who I am.
Yeah.
If one of them is missing, that's not me anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel the same.
And of course, priorities take places. Like if family has to be taken care of, everything else goes on a back burner until this is being addressed. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's at the forefront of your life this year? Here you guys are working on new music for Kultur Shock.
Amy, you want to say something?
Yeah, well, we're working on new music. We've been playing for forever. I mean, I joined the band in 1999, so it's been a really great new step for us to collaborate together. I don't know, on a very new level since we've been together for so long. We're able to communicate better. We're reaching out to really touch on social issues right now, like migration, like just everything, and irony, as always, is part of an essential part of our expression. And it's just been fantastic to be able to come here again and again to revisit places, to explore new regions and
go to the well where the source of it is.
Exactly.
The thing is, this band somehow I've been kind of watching this, like every 8 years reinvents itself.
Okay.
And I think it's a normal course of a particular line of development. You know. In which after that there's slight personnel changes or lifestyle changes that dictate the personnel changes or whatever, and in the same time what's been explored musically, artistically for these 8 years has already been explored and accomplished.
Okay.
So it's time to turn a new page and brings this level of new discovery. It's like, hey, where are we going now? What do we want to do? What do we hear now? What's in our heads? What are we listening to? What are the influences? What is the cool shit that we haven't done yet? You know.
Yeah. And so what's next for the band?
So what we started doing is we're gonna release a series of 2-song singles, which are eventually going to turn by next spring into a full-length record. We didn't want to do a full-length record to start with, first of all, because it takes too much time, and by the time you write it, produce it, record it, distribute it and stuff, it's like the songs are already morally old.
Yeah.
And the world is moving too fast. There's so much lyrically to be said that has to do with contemporary human condition or politics or sociology or whatever, that if you do it a year from now, you're already behind time, you know. So that's why we decided to go this other route in which we stay on top of our own
current
events.
Yeah.
You know. We see something, we sing about it. We see this, we sing about it, you know. And in the same time, the current difference, like for instance, for these last couple of new songs, I've been listening to a lot of African music lately, and that of found its way somehow into the guitar lines, you know.
But not because they're trying to.
No. Just no. That's what it is. Not just that, but I was really fascinated because I was listening to like North African Barbarian music and this kind of stuff, and I was just like, wait a second, they're using pentatonic. This is basically blues. So in the same time, they're using rumba and stuff that's part of from the from the Middle East has bled into the Balkan music culture.
Yeah.
So it's all interconnected. The blues with Balkan folk
And
influences.
and you don't have to force it. You can just let that influence into your
it
music.
just comes out. Like Guy Davis, he was telling me, just like, what the fuck did you come up with these guitar lines? I was like, I don't know. Just like that's what's in my head right now. 2 months from now, it might be completely fucking different thing because different stuff is influencing.
And then for me, it's exciting to expand our instrumentarium. So now I'm playing bouzouki. I'm playing guitar since I was 12, and so finally I can play the instrument I've always wanted to play.
Multi-instrumentalist,
so it's been really a pleasure. Hey, I just wanted to speak a little bit about Incentive in Belgrade, which is that the first time I came here to play was in the year 1990 at Academia Republika, and also in 1991, 2 weeks before the election. And I saw, the series of events that really ripped the city apart, and it broke my heart. And there's there was a festival that's been happening, I'm not sure if it's happening now, called Ring Ring, that really celebrated innovation in music. Yeah, it's a historic festival. Anyway, these guys in 1999 said, we want to have Ring Ring, but it's impossible, where the city is just absolutely in pieces. So we decided the only possible idea is to have Ring Ring wherever it can be on this weekend at the end of May, all over the world. And this is in the beginning of the internet, and they had the incentive to say, well, we can't do it here. We can't promise there'll be bridges, we can't promise people will be safe, we can't pay anything. So let's just make the festival an international event of solidarity, of brotherhood.
Interconnected.
And so I played in Rome with a guy from Novi Sad, so I was representing, NATO forces, and he was representing Vojvodina, and we played together in peace. And so I'm getting shivers thinking about it. So this is an early example of incentive that you find in Belgrade.
How can we continue that sort of feeling in Belgrade today? Is just by being international and like spreading the flag.
By reaching out and by interconnecting. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about musicians, is that with our touring, like we met, 3 years ago?
Yeah, something like that.
And so these connections happen, and it weaves a web of possibility, and these connections are just like nodes for
it's unbelievable.
new
Every time you hit the road, something of that nature happens, because you never know who's in the audience, who's gonna come and say hi to you backstage.
Yeah, exactly.
Last night I'm walking into Strogi Center. Rambo Mateos is there. So we were hanging out for a couple of rounds of drinks and completely randomly, and this stuff happens all the time, and opens another ideas and other opportunities, what we did with Ed on Mike a couple of years back. It was started as a goofy idea. Yeah, we should do something. We've been seeing each other playing festivals now and then, and so finally it was like, we should really fucking do something.
And you did that remotely, or did you have a session together?
No, we did it remotely.
Okay, that works too.
Although Gino came over here to collaborate with him on the lyrics.
They kind of put together the backbone of the ideas, and after that we recorded in Seattle. Chris recorded in New York.
So
and Edo recorded in Tel Aviv.
It can work like that, yeah.
It worked like fucking charm, man.
Yeah.
And it does, it's all about collaborating and using this magical gift of connection, the internet that we've got,
the potential is infinite.
It's unbelievable. At some point it will come to a point that maybe you'll be able to rehearse with your band, with members in South Africa, Israel, Russia, and Japan.
I think there's a 300 millisecond delay to Australia or something. I know. Almost like, you can do it one way. You could have the sound coming one way and somebody riffing over it, but
that still doesn't.
Speed of light,
speed of light comes in a way,
Yeah, but I mean, I guess the message to the kids is like, you might have grown up with the internet. I mean, I've been doing like video broadcasts from my living room since 1999 to my friends on ICQ and stuff like that. But just imagine like this potential of this, and if you're creative as a person and you reach out to other creative people around the world, what you can do.
No, literally, this long distance collaboration, and Amy participates in many of them. She plays on a bunch of people's records from all over the world.
All over the world. It's great.
Yeah.
And it was great having you in the studio today.
It was great to actually be in
with
person.
Casper. Yeah,
that makes it much easier.
You'll hear what we did soon.
Fun.
But So tell me, what's this tour about? You were in Macedonia, and before that you were...
We started in Sarajevo.
In
Macedonia, and now we're here.
And Kragujevac the other day. How was that? How was Kragujevac Arsenal Fest?
Great.
It was really great.
It was great, except that the whole region, the temperatures have been absolutely despicably cold. Zima.
Yeah,
Zima.
it was 9 degrees.
Jesus Christ.
And a little bit raining when we were playing.
9 degrees in Kragujevac and in
That's okay.
in Makedonska Kamenica was 7.
Yeah.
So it was literally, I've never been sweating while I'm freezing cold. That was
Yeah,
just
the
like,
sweat usually
what
doesn't
the
freeze
fuck
on
is
the-
Well,
happening?
maybe you'll do a New Year's Eve concert in Belgrade someday, and you can experience those outdoor
yeah,
stages.
yeah.
But they have heaters for that, actually.
Yeah.
We did a winter show in Pula many years back.
Ah, that's Pula. That's the coast. It's always warm there.
Yeah, it was like 10 degrees or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
Cool enough.
yeah, we were a little bit unprepared for it because it's like, come on,
But
it's
really,
summer.
how like after 3 songs, did you notice it that you were on stage and it was cold, or did you heat up?
No. You get into the game and it
Sure.
flows.
How was
but
the crowd in both
great,
places? Yeah.
great.
Incredible.
We played our stage time in Kragujevac was what 2:30.
2:30.
2:30. So we played till about almost 4 o'clock in the morning. It's like the concert goers were having a great time, partying, mosh pit, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
Like the time called, fuck it, who gives a shit? Yeah, we go.
I mean, this is really an inspiration for me, that you guys are, I guess a couple decades older than I am. I'm 35 now, and you guys are still doing it.
Literally
That's the idea.
2 rock and roll generations prior.
Exactly, and just it's really great to see that you guys are still doing it. You're still doing fresh material. That it's like it must be a
Well-
real passion in your life.
Well, the
to
thing is,
want to keep doing
every
this.
so often we hit it just like, are we done with this? And
then you go home for a few months?
We go home. That normally happens at the end of the tour. Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody wants to
Oh,
quit,
I know that one.
quit the band the last day of the tour, and that's why you never make decision on the last day of the tour.
Oh yeah.
Then 2 weeks later or a month later, you get together and just like, no, we're not done.
Are we booking for next festival season?
No,
Yes, we are.
Or I have a bunch of songs in my head. How about we start actually doing something?
As long as there's something fresh coming in the studio, and
Oh no, that's absolutely an imperative because if, as Gino says it very often, it's very important not to go into the nostalgia
Yeah.
band stuff.
Yes.
Now, since we have 10 records, how many do we have? 11, almost 11,
lots.
11-ish.
Yeah.
We have so many songs that ultimately bunch of them have turned into a live concert hits without being big commercial hits or anything like that.
It's hard.
So we end up playing the main bulk of the repertoire as this body of songs just because everybody fucking loves them. And that's the danger for me, how to go into the nostalgia status, because the new songs cannot break through.
So you could just go the next 10 years, hashishi, hashishi,
Oh, we can
and then
fucking,
like,
yeah.
Right.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
but
mean?
no, don't, yeah.
No, I know. There's some songs. It's just like, if I don't see it ever in my life, I'm not gonna regret. I'm just not that the song is bad. I've had it.
Well, it's I guess it's placing the new songs in the right place in your set where they really fit,
Yeah. That's
rather
always
than
the
just
challenge.
playing a song
And
just because it's
that,
new.
I
Yeah.
gotta say, that's one of the reasons why I do not actually like festival tours, because
They want the hour of power.
yes,
Yeah,
Hour of Power.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I like club tours because that allows you to get lyrical. You can dial the show and you can plug new material in. You have a new record, you can play 5 of the new songs in and be completely fine with it.
And you know the audience is there for you.
Yes, that's
Exactly.
what it is. Otherwise, you don't know what you're working with. You're more an entertainer as opposed to somebody that connects with the crowd. Give me a 800 seater with the audience 2 meters from me,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's why I feel the best.
Absolutely.
Because the
Yeah.
energy is the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
much stronger intimacy.
Yeah.
And the more we play with all our hearts, you just feel this heartfulness that you find, especially in the Balkans.
It's really a different
circular.
vibe, yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
But then again, there's nothing like 2,000 people in front of you who've never heard you before, who you can win over, and like,
Oh yeah.
that's always,
There's that.
yeah. That there's that.
they're
Yeah,
both
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has a different level of energy. Plus, sometimes like not last summer, the summer before when we were playing Ziget. What a fucking unbelievable experience! It's just like it's all dialed in, sound absolutely perfect. The festival is great. The audience follows the schedule, so they come for you. You know.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had the spot right before Muse went on main stage, because otherwise we would be killed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
You were before them?
No, we are playing the world stage, but our timing was before the Muse went.
Oh, so it was like an A/B stage thing.
There's 17 stages or something,
Okay.
but our timing was like a half hour before they started, so we didn't have to compete with them. You know,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
like because it's unfair competition. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So this tour you've got, you're in Slovenia this weekend.
Yeah, we're going tomorrow. Actually, we're playing Koper, then Ljubljana, and a festival in Velenje, where we're gonna do a couple of songs.
Where's that?
Velenje, it's
In Slovenia. Also.
Okay.
in the northern part of Slovenia.
Sounds beautiful. Everywhere in Slovenia is beautiful.
Between Maribor and the Croatian border, I think
yeah.
it is. And we're doing a couple of songs with Ted over there because he's playing the same festival. So might as well, if you're together, we're gonna do
that'll
the
be
two
fun.
songs,
Awesome.
Sloboda and Staza Manjine, that we did with him. And then we have a little bit of a break that everybody will fuck off and
Where are you going?
do their own
Bulgaria?
thing. I'm going to Bulgaria, and after that with my wife going for a 12 days vacation in Crete.
Nice. That's because usually she doesn't get to be a part of the whole summer tour experience, does she?
No.
That's gonna be nice.
When we're working, and
Nice.
Amy calls it extreme touring. That's
It
not
is.
for.
New Olympic sport.
So now-
Extreme touring.
Oh, I know what it's like.
It's not for significant others.
Oh,
it's just
man,
like
no way.
drives
No,
are
no,
hard,
no.
playing is hard.
No.
Yeah,
It's not.
but and Amy's going. You're going to Sicily.
Yeah, first I'm going to Rome to play at Vilada, and then I'm going to Sicily for vacation, then working up my way to Pula.
And then after your little break, what's Pula?
Then we're doing Pula, Zagreb, the festival in Tuzla, then Hills of Rock in Plovdiv, where it's interesting. It's the Judas Priest night, so
Oh, cool.
yeah, we're scheduled to go. We're going. They're doing main stage, and we're going right after them on stage B. So that's gonna be an interesting experience. And then we're going south. We're gonna do a show in Thessaloniki at
Nice.
my favorite
Beautiful.
club in the whole world called 8 Ball.
Oh,
And
nice.
and then the last show is a festival near Piraeus in
Near Athens.
Near Athens.
Wow, sounds like a good tour with
Yep.
enough rest and relaxation in the middle.
Well, I don't know how good that is. That's why I like the club tours, because once
Every
you get
day,
into
when
the
you get in the
groove,
rhythm, yeah.
you get it done, and the more you do it, the better you get. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you dial at some point, you have no voice, you have no juice. There's nothing
But
left
it
there.
has to go on.
In your fingers, but
Yeah,
it's still
but it's still playing because it's like it gets. As a friend of mine says, Mario, our ex brother player in the band, he says like music starts when you stop thinking about what you're playing.
Yeah.
you
That's
know.
it. That's really
Yeah,
That's
on a tour
when-
you can really get into
That's
this.
when it
yeah.
starts. That's when the nuances come about,
That's really
and
true.
That's when you start
Yeah.
riding it.
because you're not careful anymore. You're just it's all about the feeling that you bring to it and the connection with everybody else on stage, even if you don't hear them at all. You know? which is the normal modus operandi, you know.
Yeah, so awesome. I mean, unfortunately, I looked at the schedule, and because of my travel plans, I'm not going to be able to see any of your shows. But it was great to catch up with you in
no,
Belgrade.
I like that. It's great to see you.
And you're gonna be back in Europe next year sometime, probably.
No, we're talking about April to do with a full length record. At this point, the singles would have been all of them would be released, and hopefully we can include 5 of them in a new set that will make my day.
Yeah.
And a club tour in April.
Yeah, club tour.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this.
All right.
This has been Belgrade Beat with Val and Amy from Kultur Shock.
Pleasure.
And
Pleasure,
it's been a
brother.
pleasure, and hope to see you again soon.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, thanks a lot.
Ciao.
Belgrade Beat, the pulse of the city.